Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Laurel Langmeyer.
When you set goals, these are the 8 areas. A lot of people use 7 areas. I add one, which I think some of you will be surprised that I add. But again, another great mentor taught me about your physical environment. See, at the end of the day, I don't care how strong you are, your environment will always win. Always. One of my greatest mentors taught me that. So it's like, if you don't like your environment, the people you hang out with, like how many times have you heard that ridiculous saying, let's just put it out there. You're like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are you really? Are you really? I mean, you could spend time with them, but what about your environment? What about where you work, where you live, what you drive? You're like, I'm a mountain water girl. I live in Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Like there's nothing more breathtaking than being at 10,000 feet, right? And being in the snow. Like there's an environment that you have to put into your life. I mean, what you wear, how you feel about yourself, like your physical environment is when you really understand it at the level, like even your home, like how you, like I'm an avid reader and I have photographic memory. So I have books everywhere and I've read thousands of books. So I have books everywhere. I like candles. I love music. So what do you have in your environment that can help you change your state? Tony Robbins always said, if you want to change your life, you got to change your state, which is also like your psychology, really powerful. So you have to pay attention to your environment or it will win. Meaning those same 5 people you hang out with, the same people that you go out and, drink with and bitch about your boss too, and complain and do whatever you do. Are you done with that? Like, how old are you? Like, we're not in we're not in junior high. Like, do you really have time to gossip and have any of those stupid conversations? Like, get on with what you want for success and have that be your narrative. And if you're not with people who are in that narrative, that's on you. That's 100% you. You have to change it. Like, I grew up in a farm family in Nebraska. It was great, right? I love going back to visit. It's not where I wanted to raise my kids. I wanted mountain kids. I wanted ski kids. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be in the water. So I changed my entire environment. My Nebraska family constantly says, when are you coming home? It's like, I've been in Lake Tahoe since around 2000, 2001. I'm home. I'm really clear I'm home. And I love Nevada. So I kind of jumped to that one because it's the one that most people don't. If you look at other success principles, most people have 7 areas of success and they use all F's for finance and freedom and blah, 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 family. So again, taught by a great mentor about how to do this, but these are the 8 areas that I help my kids, even at 3, 4 years old. What do they want to do with money? So notice money is one category. That's just your income and your investments. That's money. And how you spend, right? Very different. I do not collapse it with your career, your business, your personal development. Because if you're not growing and learning and changing and accelerating every day, money's not going to happen because this isn't happening, but they are not the same things. There's a lot of people who put them together and say, what do you want with your money and your business? And they tie money and business. They also, I don't agree with this at all, put their money and love together, money and family. Like, yeah, money affects your family, but money and love have nothing to do with each other, which is your significant relationship. So what do you want with money? Right. So you can start writing this down in the areas of income. These are the areas you want to set goals in. How much more money do you want and need to support your family and to have the investment goals? Notice the first 2 things I go to: make it, invest it. And how are you spending it? The other thing you could think about with money would be what's some capital investments. Like, what was it? I think last year, Steve, or the last 2 years, we bought, new computers and screens, and we upgraded our, whole tech, stack around here. So what do you need to buy? Like what is needed in the money category? And some of you could just say, I need to learn about it. Right. And you found me. So we're in the right place. Career, business, personal development. What do you need to know more? What is the thing you're going to go pick up? And again, I do not want a huge list because the longer the list, the more chances of self-sabotage. So you just want, like, what do you need to learn? Right? Do you need to learn to stop being a victim? Do you need to learn more about marketing? Do you need to lean in and really love service-based sales? Like, what is your development that's going to then affect and change your money? Your health, we all know what that is. Some of you care a lot about it. Some of you haven't cared a lot about it. In the last, couple of years, when I about died, I was about 22 minutes from death. I don't think you guys know that. I don't talk about that very much. But in January 3rd, oh my, it's my 2-year anniversary of being alive. 2021, I was 22 minutes from death. Super fun night. So that changes your perspective. Spirituality, so whatever you want that to be, but whether you call it God, universe, whatever religion you are. Again, we stay as much as we can politically free, which is becoming harder to do. But we say, religious, we don't dominate in that. I know some people pick that and only focus on Christian groups or Mormon groups or Jewish groups or whatever kind of groups, whatever. That's not we're money and business. So what are your spiritual practices? What do you do? How do you stay connected? How does that support you? What are your goals for your family and your commitments to your family? Right? Is it having dinner once a week? Is it now we're having a money conversation every day about the YouTube? That's why I do 5 days a week for a family YouTube channel. What are you doing for your significant relationship? If you have one, do you want one? I mean, what are you doing in that area to keep that healthy? Or create it. And then again, I talked about your physical environment and then fun and friends. Now, if you look at these 8 and let's do common sense, right? Because I think some people, a lot of you have just had this weird psychology around money, and you use psychology of money as an excuse to not grow. It's not psychology, it's lack of knowledge. So of how you see your life and what you want financially, if you just did some common sense math and said, okay, if I had 2 goals in each of these areas, that's 16 things I'm working on and I have 12 months to do it. Do you really want more than 2 or 3 goals in each of these areas? Like, I've seen people make a whole page of everything they want with money. I've seen people make 2 pages of everything they're going to do to just magically fix their health in 1 year. After 40, 50 years, 20 years, however many years you've been on the planet of doing stuff that abused your body, now you're going to magically fix it. I mean, so you got to give yourself some space and time and some forgiveness to make sure that, like, be realistic. Some of these areas you might be jamming at. So you're just like, maintain. You're like, I got that. Like, I've had that. I'm maintaining that. That's perfect. Some of you've got to do some work. Like, you got to do some work in some of these areas and you got to pick. But too many goals is where I'm going, can sabotage you. Like, can you imagine if you had 10 things in all 8 areas, 80 things to do in 12 months? Really? How are you going to get all that done? And especially if you don't have a team. Now, if you have a team, you can do more things. So those are the 8 areas we're going to look at. Now, if we go to the next slide, let's look at what it takes to make commitments in these areas. So commitment setting, goal setting, result setting, not resolutions. Like, I'm a huge non-fan of resolutions, because resolutions maybe last 10 to 12 days. They don't even last 21 days. It's just a funny thing you say on January 1 and say, oh, this year I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. All right. So commitments are powerful because they influence how you think, how you act, and how you are perceived. So I want you sharing them out loud. So I want you to grab that 2895, the journal, the replays, and get in the Facebook group. And I want you out in our community sharing your goals, because that's where you get supported. So when you tell me, as your mentor coach, which some of you have hired me, some of you are thinking about it, in our team, when you say, I want more income, we're not going to stop pushing on you, driving you, correcting you, introducing you, right? Who is a lot of this game, until you say, okay, I don't want that goal anymore. So a lot of people just throw things out because it's a cool thing to say, but it's really not what you want and not what you're willing to do. Because again, your actions and results, if they don't actually have a line to actually affect each other, you're just being busy. All you're doing is being busy. So when you want to make a commitment to yourself, right, or something, or to someone, you got to make a promise, like a deep promise, like a huge commitment that's important. Like, you're not going to break it, and it's going to happen at all costs. So be careful when you say those, and also just notice your language this year of how you use casual, cliche things that just, you can say them over and over, but they really don't mean anything. It's sort of a thing to say because you seem like you're the cool person. Be sincere and deep about this. Sharing with people that are really accountability partners to you. Accountability partners are not your best friends. They sure in the heck are not your spouse. They are the people who are going to say, you know, Steve, you said you wanted this goal. You said you wanted this commitment. But what I see in your behavior, your actions, is over here, your habits. What you're doing is here. You want this. So based on like my experience, these are never, they're never going to match. You're never going to get it. So how can I support you to do this differently so you actually get this because you deserve it in your life? That's accountability. That's an appropriate conversation. Not, oh, you're doing that again. And it sure isn't the people who sympathize with you. Oh, yeah, I had a crappy day too. Yeah, I blew up all my sales calls. Yeah, I didn't do any of my social posts today. I didn't do any of my stuff. I just didn't want to. I just didn't feel like it. Like, how many of you live your life by how you feel about your day versus what you know you need to do? Like, a lot of you live very emotionally. You don't live through any mental capacities and are growing your mental capacity. You just kind of go through life. It's the same routine. You got to break it, which is why we're going to continue to push this 21-day life challenge as a way to open up your, your thinking, number one. And then as you get serious, you're going to move into the real stuff. Then you're going to move and say, let's dig in. And I'm saying dig in deep. Like, I want to know which profile of the 7 families are you most like? And then what are you going to do with my guidance and our team's help to get you where you want to go? And then we build a blueprint and we roll. I promise that you'll do your best to follow through and make it a reality, meaning you're going to do all that it takes, even if you're not in the mood. And then just an honor to yourself, just, like there's an integrity to yourself and honoring your commitments and your promise that'll overpower your desire to quit. And when you surround yourself with people who are supporting you, those days you don't want to get up and go because you just don't feel like it, those are the people you call your first minute when you knew you wake up and you just didn't like come out of the gate with a great day. You say, I'm going to call some people because I need to get in my state. Now, others, you're going to learn to self-manage, which is a big skill I talked about. Self-management means you know how to change your own state. So I'll go work out. I'll go, like, I don't care if it's just a brisk walk. I don't care if it's right, or listen to music, or like, I know the things that change my state and I can shift. You have no idea. Like, one of the funny sayings, I actually say it because I rarely share it, but it's kind of funny. Our internal team laughs about it. I always say, when whatever, just, you're not feeling it, right? And you got to go perform. I always say, the days I took the stage, I said, from where I'm at this minute to that stage is a long walk. Right. And that to my team, they knew that like they needed to support me to do my best to get in the best state, to, like, I'm talking excellent state, to take the stage and perform, even though there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. I remember the day my dad died, I performed. You say, oh my God, you really did? Nobody even knew. I didn't tell them one thing. When I almost died 2 years ago, I was behind the screen because I was in a unit, but like, we didn't go out to our community to say, oh, there was this big accident. Oh my gosh, everybody should feel sorry for her and send her flowers. We just moved on. My whole team knew, do not talk about it. That is not, it's nobody is like, how's it going to serve you? My goal is to serve you in these conversations, not get your sympathy for whatever happened in my life. And a lot of you use the sympathy card, you use the victim card to get attention because you need attention and you're getting everything you don't want in your life because of the way you're playing. So if any of you need that whole behavioral psychology, like, we'll pack it into your coaching program because I could teach it to you all day long. I was taught by the best of the best, John DeMartini, like world class at this. Proctor, you name it. I've had him as not only mentors, but business partners and travel the world with them. So I get, and I've watched people play at the highest level of performance, and it has you stretch and say, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. And what else am I not doing for myself, which then means my family, my children? Because parents, they're counting on you. And some of you, whew, I said that actually today with a few clients and the way they're playing right now. I'm like, who I feel sorry for the most is their kids, because they're playing with such a negative, like, energy and talk track, and everything about what they're doing is it's crushing their children because your children watch you. So, a lot of this comes from writing this book of making your kids millionaires and listening to families and what they do and don't do to their kids. It's just like, whew. Anyway, that's enough of the parenting talk. On to some more tools. The next one, this is a great tool I learned from Bob Proctor. in his goal achiever, which by the way, I have some goal achievers. I'm cleaning out my warehouse as we clean out our games and we're actually reducing our physical product is what we're doing, except for the books. The 6 books will stand always. But if you want, I mean, they're old. They're like the CD kind of stuff. So you're gonna have to find an old player. Some of them are actually cassettes. But we pulled it all from my warehouse. We brought it up. And so Steve, watch for what we're gonna call our retro campaign. So for just shipping and handling, because I just want somebody to have the great content, I'm not going to go throw it away. Libraries don't take it because it is outdated because it's cassettes and CDs, but you can buy those old players anywhere. In fact, my daughter now thinks cassettes are the coolest thing ever. So she's back to my whole collection box of, all the old music from the 80s that I listened to because her new little funny cassette player she thinks is hysterical versus the iPad. So my point is, I think we have about 6 goal achievers, like the original from Bob Proctor. Original. So for just shipping and handling, we're going to ask you to get an appointment with our team. So if you don't have a strategy session, let's just go there right now, and don't have an appointment to talk to somebody on my team, just put the word no, which means you do not have a next step with our team. And you're going to start getting some direct messages from Kelsey, from George, from Sandra, from Chrissy, from who else is out on the floor today? Just those 4? Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? Jordan, potentially Nick. You're gonna get messages, and we're gonna make sure you guys get appointments. So put no if you do not have an appointment to talk to our team after this call about what you want to do about all your learning. And for those who qualify and you want the Bob Proctor stuff for just shipping and handling, we'll send it out for free. The content is world class. It's the modalities not. So we're going to do this fun retro campaign to get rid of it all in a very cool way. So back to this. Inside Goal Achiever, Bob Proctor taught me this. The techniques for success. You have A goals, B goals, and C goals. So if you think about, now you got a couple of these tools. You think about your SWOT analysis. That's your assessment of yourself. All right, so you got your SWOT. Then you have the 8 areas. So you're going to take the 8 areas and you're going to overlay them and say, of my 8 areas of life, money, what is my A goal? What's my B goal? What's my C goal? And again, I don't want you setting 8 things in 8 categories, maybe 2, 3, in each category. Your A goals are not negotiable. These are the things that are going to drive you every day. So if you have, and I'm totally cool. This is again using the tools how you want to use them, where you just pick one area or 2 areas. You don't have to pick all 8 this year. Just know that you'll get to them, but pick 1 or 2 and just go deep and win. Like win with money. Make your first 100,000. If you're already making 100, let's go make your first million. It's not difficult to make $1 million. It's different. It's not difficult. It's different. And what you're doing is not getting you there. Again, result and action are going like this, and you're like, I can't get there. I can't get there. It's because your action is not going to ever get you this. And I see it better than anyone I know. Like that's just I see it. You're like what you do, like it drives me crazy. Ask my very close clients. I mean, Bruce, you're out there. Some of you guys who know me really well because you're like really close to us. I'm like, that isn't going to get you that. Like, not a chance, not in this lifetime, not on this planet. Like, she has some magical wand. It's cute, but it's not going to happen. And I'm a truth teller. So I think that's also why people appreciate this, my non-filter, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to BS you into something. I'm just going to tell you the truth, and we're going to get to it. So A goals are not negotiable. You got to have them. They are the priority of this year. B goals would be like the cool stuff. That'd be extras. Like, yeah, that if I have that and I get my A goals, and then the C goals, those are the ones that if depending on what goes on in the economy and whatever goes on in your marketing, they're the ones that's okay if you move them into the next year. They're the balls you can drop, right? Because you're going to hold a lot of balls in the air. You're going to be like juggling. So which ball do you drop? You drop your C goals. You do not drop your A goal ever. So go through each of the areas. This is giving homework, and then we want you to go over to Millionaires in Training, and this is where we want to hear about it. If you're not there, you could always go to Ask Laurel. That's another place you could go to asklaurel.com and just give me your A goals. I don't need to know your A's, your B's, your C's. If you're my client, my personal client, I want this plan from you because that's going to show me a lot about you and how I'm going to coach you this year. So A goals in your health in those 8 areas, right? So in money, in your personal development. Anyway, so I have my personal development goals. I have my money goals, my personal development. What are your health goals? What's your spirituality goals? And so you want to pick A, B, and C in each of these categories. So you're going to take the overlay of the 8 areas and put goals to them. What's A, what's B, what's C? And then here's the big part of this one. I want you to share them with your accountability partners. And you say, well, I don't have some. Well, again, you're going to meet them at the Millionaire Intensive. If you come to that on January 18th, you'll meet them tonight. You guys aren't, I'm not, saying you guys can't share who you are. And how do you really support each other? Our coaches are going to support you. Your mastermind group is going to support you. If you're not in a mastermind, boy, you're missing out, because masterminds are phenomenal, phenomenal. Oh yeah, that should be a Lauralism, huh? It's difficult. It's not difficult. It's different. That's a really good. I should say that one. Thanks. We'll take that on, right? So Austin's behind the scenes taking notes for what we're going to come back out. So we are going, whether you do the replay for the 28.95 or not, we are going to be sending out a thank you for showing up tonight. And here are some actions that, we invited you to do during the call. So set your goals. I would highly encourage you to post your A goals, get a big flip chart, those sticky kind like we have all over my walls here, and just write down those A goals. Like you want to go to bed with them, you want to put them on your mirror. My daughter wrote hers like in a little lipstick thing, like on her mirror. And she wrote some of her favorite sayings of mine on my mirror. Like we do all sorts of very visual things. So you get constant reminders of what you say you want. You can put them on your visor in your vehicle. Like, how do you want and need to be reminded? And again, that's up to you. I don't know you well enough to know what triggers you, what gets you excited and move. So you got to talk about it, and record it and play it frequently. That's a great one. Thank you for that. What's great about that one is if you put some really, really awesome subconscious music behind it, and you have positive forward thinking goals. It can't be, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not, no negative, because that'll embed deeper into your subconscious and you just tangled yourself up more. So do not do that. But the repetition and going to sleep with it, extremely powerful. In fact, one of my favorite tools that I have is called Brain Tap, and it's already lots. In fact, Brain Tap is getting recorded into my Millionaire Maker book series is getting recorded into Brain Tap. So you'll be able to go to sleep with a Brain Tap in your head all night long with the millionaire sayings coming due. So it's all coming and it's part of our 2024 goals. In fact, I have to write that one down because we got to get Patrick some things. So make a note of that, Austin, please. We've got to get Patrick, who owns Brain Tap, the Millionaire Maker contract. I own the IP, but he's going to put it in his technology. So another tool, let's go to the next slide. Another tool. And this one's probably right up there at my favorite. I don't know. I have so many favorites. So again, part of tonight isn't to confuse you and give you too many things to do. Some things you're going to pick, and some things I'm going to show you how to take them all and integrate them, because there's really 4 big tools. So far, there's your SWOT analysis, which is your assessment, right? There's the 8 areas that you want to then set ABC goals on. And then you want to do this. And this is kind of validates your ABC goals. And just the areas of your life. So it's great exercise that keeps you on point and validates you a little bit, because sometimes you beat yourself up so much if you're a hypercritic. It took a little minute for, I think all of us to, move off of that. But as you look at these things, you say, what are the things I need to start doing? Like you need to start doing that you're not doing. That's going to help you get that A goal. This is where our mentoring and coaching comes in really handy dandy. What do you need to stop doing? Like sleeping in, not eating healthy. I mean, all the things that keep you out of state, right? Hanging out with negative people. Like, could you just please fire them? And here's how you fire them in a very gracious way. I've set new goals for 2024. And if they even laugh at that and they say, that's why. So I'm going to get really, really active, aligning my actions, my environment to the result I want in my life. And yeah, you guys might not think I can have it. My old Chevron friends, when I worked at Chevron and I quit Chevron, making almost $250,000 as a 27-year-old. And I went to work with the Kiyosaki group, Rich Dad Poor Dad, who wasn't even on the map. Nobody knew who they were. It was 1996. I just jumped out, quit. And I'll never forget all those people that I hung out with during Chevron hours. And they said, oh, you're going to follow some Japanese guy in a game around? Have you lost your flipping mind? You're going to lose your pension and your big 401k and your benefit package. Just like, I'm worth more than this money. I could do this in a day. Again, I got Bob Proctor in my head telling me I'm going to do it. Hadn't quite done that yet. I just stopped hanging out with them. I said, you know what? You can just stand here and make fun and just watch. And then when I became a millionaire, guess what? Over half of them have become clients. And they're like, all right, All right. You're on to something. We want that. So my point in sharing that isn't, again, any bragging thing. I'm so beyond any of that like childish behavior. I need you to know you can believe in yourself and you can have anything you want. I don't care how dire your situation is. It absolutely might suck. You can have anything you want if you surround yourself with the right people, with the right guidance and move. But you have to be willing to start some things. I got to tell you, to be successful in business, you're going to have to market, you're going to have to sell, you're going to have to do teams. We're going to tell you this exact systems to use, and you're going to have to understand cash flow. You have to. Those are must starts, must. And you got to stop doing whatever the weird things you do are, which I don't know what you do. I mean, for some of you, I'm going to say start journaling, right? I mean, get a journal, start journaling. Another thing I'm going to say, get a calendar. Live by a calendar. If you say, well, what am I going to do with the calendar? Fill it up with sales calls, fill it up with marketing calls, fill it up with joint venture calls, fill it up with interviews. We're going to tell you what you can do. I'll give you a huge list of all the things you're going to choose from, and you're going to get really good at a few things. And then what are you going to continue to do? Because not everything you do sucks, right? So give yourself some credit. Some stuff you do is really, really good. Like some of you, I'm just going to say this to you mothers out there, you parents, some of you are great parents at the expense of your money and your own personal development. So how do you integrate that? How do you get to have it all? I don't believe in a balanced life. I believe in a have it all life. You could have it all. So how do you get to bring money and personal development? You know what I'm going to tell you as parents? Bring your kids to the conversation. Every day, I cannot tell you why, Steve and I made these up this past year, this was designed for exactly that. Because if you have your whole family watch my YouTube channel and come up with one thing, just one learning, then you write it in the journal. And then at night or once a week, whenever you go through it, but you as the parent have to be the one saying, so what'd you learn today? What's one thing you learned today? Well, she said, I should have credit cards. Like my daughter is 17 and she's got all her 18 and 19-year-old friends watching my credit card series on my YouTube channel because their parents won't let them get a credit card. She's like, oh, no. I've had a credit card since I was 12 and you need a credit card. So we're having this little weekend, actually coming this weekend. I'm going to teach her friends how to go get their first credit cards as an 18 and 19-year-olds. And I'm sure I'm going to hear from all their parents about what an amazing parent I am. And I am. And I'm helping those kids create success. I'm going to teach them how to use them right. So they're not in bad debt, but they use them for great credit and great success in their future. So this is a fun one. I love this one. And again, where I want you thinking about how to do this is you could do a SWOT analysis on one night. Good conversation around like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Don't let it get negative or picking on. You're not picking on anybody about, oh, that's your weakness. This isn't a make fun. This is a sincere, I care about you so much with my heart. I'm going to give you some really good feedback. So that's that. That's kind of one night. These are 8 areas of our life. Now let's set some ABC goals, right? You can do those two kind of together. Then you come back after and you sit with it for a little while and say, so to have this, what do I have to start, stop, and continue doing? Do you see how that just all went together? Like you have an assessment, you have your 8 areas, you have your ABC goals, and then it marinates. It just sits, right? Have you noticed how many of you say yes if you notice how time just kind of allows things to like marinate in? Yes, and you do the SWOT with your family, your business, you do it all collective, the more you do. So just allow it to sit because, other thoughts are going to come and other things are. I mean, I'll go over this all day. If you're my client, I'd love to go over these with you and especially if I know you fairly well, I'm going to, tell you where your blind spots are, not negatively, just that's what I've seen this for years and I just haven't seen this move. So what do you got to do different? What do you start doing? And then just really isolate it, but don't give yourself like, this isn't a year project. Like this really needs to be done. I say no longer, I would be done with this by the 10th or 15th of the month. So allow yourself some time, like give it some time to like think about it, like know about it. Keep me in your head. Some of you are binge watching my YouTube channel. Thank you for that. We need watch hours. So those are the 4 things I've done since my kids were 3. I love doing them. I love this. Like prior to integrated life, we called this New Year, New You. We put that one in, we resigned it to the archives. And now just going to talk about having an integrated life with your integrated wealth because it all goes together.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Laurel Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Laurel's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Laurel? Visit asklaurel.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.